Hey guys, my name's Qzine and welcome to my channel where we're always writing it right. So in today's video, for the most part, I'm going to be talking about this new, shiny, new book idea. And honestly, I feel like one of the past things I've been dealing with for the last years and the last couple months as a writer is kind of trying to stick with one project and kind of avoid starting a new book before I finish one. However, I did give into that temptation, and recently I started this really exciting new YA fantasy idea that I really wanted to share with you guys. I know I've done writing vlogs in the past on my channel, but I thought it would be really great if I started kind of like what I think could become like a series in my channel, since I recently started this particular book that I'm working on now, just like maybe a few months ago, and I haven't gotten that far into it yet. I thought it would be really cool to kind of take you guys with me on the journey of kind of the whole writing process of finishing this current project from start to finish. So right now, at this point that I'm at in the book, I'm kind of like in Act 1 at almost like the very end, right before things really pick up and get started. And I'll make sure to tell you guys all about the book eventually. But before I say anything else, guys, please do give this video a humongous thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I appreciate all of your support. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So I kind of just got my writing set up, I guess you could call it, completely organized and ready for me to write, and I kind of wanted to like force myself to do that first before I got too deep into things, because if not, this entire video would be just me rambling about my project, and I figured that wouldn't be too exciting for you guys. But I think I've let you guys wait long enough, and it's about time for me to kind of share some of the details and things of that nature surrounding my project. The name that I have decided, I figured that nothing else would really kind of go with the story and kind of get that vibe and that whole aspect of the book that I really wanted to be prominent in the story. But I decided to name my project Project Evergreen. So that is what we are going with, and I kind of really like the sound of it as well. It just goes like so well, I think, with my genre. The genre of the story is YA portal fantasy in particular, which if you haven't heard of portal fantasy, it's kind of like Amphibia or the Owl House-esque, kind of like the character going from one world or universe to another. And while it's kind of one of the less common genres, particularly in YA fantasy, and from what I've researched fantasy in general, I thought it would be a really good challenge for me, and I've really had a really good time with this project and all that I've done with it so far. As far as the word count for this particular project, I'm planning on the final first draft, or really the first draft isn't final, so I don't know why I use that word, but I'm planning on the first draft to somewhere go around 85,000 words, just because I feel like it's not too like low for the particular genre I'm writing in, but more on the safer side, considering that if this book would be published, I would be a debut author, and I am currently working on the first draft of this novel, which has been really exciting so far. So I just finished about, you could say about a 25-minute word sprint. I'm kind of at the point in my story where I am just about wrapped up with Act 1, kind of wrapping up and breaking into Act 2, which is such a exciting time in my novel. Though I'm kind of stuck right here because I'm kind of I just finished this really intense scene that kind of sets the plot in motion, and is kind of my character's main motivation for going on this adventure. And now after that kind of intense scene, I'm kind of at this point where it's this kind of slow kind of transition from Act 1 to Act 2. And so I'm kind of trying to find a balance. The natural flow of the book makes me want to go a little slower, but at the same time, I don't want to make things so lengthy where things feel too slow and the plot is not moving forward. So I really am anxious to kind of get into the actual details of my project with you guys. I've been working on this book off and on for about 6 months. I was kind of anticipating on getting to this point a lot earlier, but I'm really happy with the progress that I've been making. And one thing that I'm really learning in this whole experience with this book is really just trying not to be too much of a perfectionist, because that's kind of just naturally my nature. To this project is really helping me to kind of see how your writing doesn't need to be perfect, or in some places even good quality rise in the first draft. So really just focusing less on the quality of my words and more so on really just character development, character arcs, kind of trying to get the dialogue really good in the first draft, because I find that's more of my strong suit. So I could probably be rambling about all the stuff that I've been learning writing-wise and about myself as a writer and a person for a while, but I just want to get into the details of my book. So to kind of get into the basic premise of my story, this story is set hundreds of years into the future. There was this huge virus outbreak that spread along the plants on the planet Earth. It was this national pandemic in which plants were officially considered unsafe for the human population. No plants on Earth whatsoever, except a few deserted forests being the exception of that kind of rule that I set. So my protagonist, a human girl, basically is transported into a portal where she is taken to this world called Evergreen, a pretty much plant-infested land inhabited by elves, and she is enlisted by a secret society within this land to kind of help them solve the mystery revolving around a mysterious virus similar to the one that took place on Earth that is spreading along the plants of Evergreen. As far as the prepping and planning of this novel and this kind of world that I'm creating, it's definitely what I would consider my biggest project yet, and definitely kind of a challenge for me, both as far as the writing itself and kind of all the planning that I think needs to come behind it. But I've already kind of done a lot of that. I already made character profiles, got to know my characters. Definitely one of the most important things that I think you need to do when writing a novel, particularly in the fantasy genre. I have kind of crafted my world building, even wrote the blurb, wrote a short summary, wrote a short outline. So I have done a lot of that planning and extra preppy stuff already, which I think has made the writing process a lot easier, and probably the whole reason why it's taken me so long to get to this point in the story to begin with. I'm definitely discovering that I'm more of a planter, and so I really wanted to share some of my techniques when it comes to Project Evergreen with you guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that now. So here is kind of my main setup, as you guys can see here for my outlining. I'm not really going to show too much of it for obvious reasons, but I'm kind of using this chapter by chapter method to kind of set everything down. So I kind of have this chapter and events column, and basically just kind of listing in bullet points the major events that happens in each chapter. Another thing that I did was copy and paste the Save the Cat layout into this Google Doc to kind of give me like a visual representation of the different beats that I have to set within my story. And so this I kind of just did for reference. I also don't mind this line here. It's kind of just something that I conjured up for a scene in my story. But this is really nothing much. It's kind of just this, like something that I copied and pasted from an article, and I just kind of use this every now and again to kind of like, I'm not trying to be too hard on myself with making sure that I hit every single percentage as it occurs in my story, but just to kind of give me a guide and make sure that I'm going in the right direction with things. And then lastly, the last thing I wanted to show you guys as far as my planning is the world building. So this document is pretty much like the 101 on my entire world that I've created. The magic system, and things of that nature. And I plan on adding another section as well. But this has been like huge help for me as far as planning everything and making sure that I kind of know what I'm doing. Even though I might not have every single detail in this document and my story, this has definitely been a huge help with making sure I know my worlds before I try to create a plot set in it, if that makes any sense. I've kind of given you guys a bit of a glimpse of my entire planning, setup, and process, and I want to go ahead and stop there because I feel like if I say more, I'm just going to end up spoiling the whole book for you guys. I'm kind of getting tired, honestly, because it's kind of midday, so I think I'm going to do like a word sprint just to kind of get some more words on the page, reach my goal for today, and then I'll come back with you guys and share a bit more about the challenges and my progress with the story so far. So I am officially done with all my writing today. I was able to write just over 500 words to bring my word count to about 16.1k, which I think is really good considering that my Nano project for 2022, an MG fantasy, that was kind of like the last major writing project that I worked on. It's really nice to kind of be able to slow my pace down and to really savor my writing and to kind of get a feel for my characters and the plot, and really, even though I try not to think too much, still kind of think a little bit more as to what I'm writing and how I'm moving my plot forward has been a huge help with the entire writing process of Project Evergreen. I really hope you guys have enjoyed learning more about my new project. It has definitely been a wild ride for me so far, so I'm super excited to see where the series goes, as well as like kind of those stages that I'm brought into throughout the natural writing process. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. If you did, please give it a humongous thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. As well, please comment down below, what are your current projects that you guys are working on right now? Is there anything specific, and was there anything about Project Evergreen that kind of inspired you or you thought was really interesting? As well, please do comment down below some possible video ideas that you guys have or things that you want me to see in the future. I do read all the comments that I get, and I really love getting your guys' feedback, so if you could do that, that would be great as well. And I kind of just wanted to interject real quick to let you guys know that I really appreciate you so much for getting me to about 195 subscribers. Thank you so much for all the support. I love you guys so much. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.